When I was little, I didn't know anything about men and women in the sport or can play sports, can't play sports. For me personally, it was just I love the sport. And I think everyone should have the opportunity because this is something that comes from our heart, not that comes from a gender. I can never realize or rationalize why anyone would keep anyone out. For one, it keeps the sports from growing. And two, it's just not fair. It doesn't represent humanity. It's not the way that we want to represent sports in our culture.
Men had been allowed to compete in international competitions, hadn't they? But not at the Olympics. So what was that moment like for you?
So, I mean, this is something I'll never forget. I can tell you the time, I can tell you the date, I can tell you who I spoke to when they told me that men were going to be allowed into the sport and should I try? And, without even thinking, I was like, absolutely. This is something that I've dreamed of my whole life. I feel like my life is a cliche. The sport has given me so much. And now to have the absolute dream of going to the Olympic Games, this is something that no one in the world could ever pass up, even just to try.
You actually had retired, hadn't you? You spent a good amount of time away from competing. What was the thinking behind walking away at the first time? And then what persuaded you to come back?
I finished in 2004. And then I went to join Cirque du Soleil. I joined Cirque du Soleil, but then in 2015, they were adding men to the mixed duet at the World Championships. So again, it was like, okay, I've been out of the sport for 10 years, but can I try to go for it again? So I went for it. We became the first world champions. So then after a few more world championships, I retired. And then I received the call that they were putting men into the Olympics. And then once again, this is another dream that I thought was only a dream.
And when we talk about the fact you saw it as a dream, you were actually there at the 2004 Olympics in Athens, watching your teammates because you were not able to compete yourself.
People ask if I was sad or upset. No, because these are my friends. These are my friends that were realizing their deepest dreams. So to see them go and receive a bronze medal, and just to be part of that and be part of their journey, it was an honor for me. But now to be with the greatest team in the world, I look at these athletes that I'm on the team with and I see them as my heroes.
So go on, how tough is it? Just talk us through your training regime and what it takes to do what you do.
I mean, we train 8 to 10 hours a day just in the pool. And then alongside that, we have cross training with core, with flexibility, with weights. And then we're working on our routines outside of the water. And then you have to coordinate with 7 other athletes in the pool. So to do all that within 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes, where every moment of every part of that routine, your muscles are burning and you're not getting oxygen for probably 3/4 of that routine.
Can you liken it to anything else? For those of us perhaps not skilled enough to give it a go without putting ourselves in serious danger, are you able to liken it to anything else?
Well, I would say, okay, you have to move like a dancer. You have to tumble and to include acrobatics like a gymnast or an acrobat. You have to have the endurance of a marathon runner. And you have to do all of these things without breathing and without touching the bottom. There's not one sport in the world where you cannot breathe while you do your entire event. Along with everything else combined, it's just, I really do think that it's one of the most difficult sports in the world.
Have you thought about that moment where you get to put on your Olympic uniform for the first time?
I think probably I'll just melt into it. When they told us that we were going to the Olympic Games, it was just like every part of my being just exploded, because there's only once in your lifetime that you'll ever get told you're going to the Olympic Games. So it's a feeling, it's a moment, it's an opportunity that your body just radiates energy and love and joy from every part of your soul.